Oh, man, listen. Lord knows I've been waiting to drop this video. Lord knows I've been waiting to drop this video. Now, this video is specifically for the ladies. And understand this, ladies. Prior to even getting into the information with this video, understand this information I'm about to share with you is coming from a place of genuine compassion, because I do care. And I'm gonna be talking to you as if you're my sister. And personally, I continue to have these conversations with my homegirls about their own personal love life. And it always mind boggles me on why sometimes, often in a romantic relationship, their relationship just goes south. It goes completely left. And it just deviates from where they originally started from, you know? And again, ladies, I'm speaking to you as if you're my sister. So when I relay this information, it's not coming from a place of strict criticism. It's coming from a place of genuine compassion. You know what I'm saying? Ladies, when it comes to interacting with another individual, right? In seek of them potentially being your romantic partner, I highly advise you to evaluate these dudes. Evaluate them. I feel like from just viewing on what's on social media and just my personal interactions with my homegirls, I've noticed, even within myself, I'm gonna put myself in this. I noticed that with interactions with another individual, we tend to allow the appearance, the aesthetic, to kind of waver the character. And what I mean by character, the intangibles, right? The things that you don't necessarily see, how they carry themselves. You know what I'm saying? We just see a beautiful appearance and we just are at awe, and we're just like, wait, how can I be able to attain this? And then when you finally do, you start to quickly realize, wait, this person doesn't really align with who I envision myself potentially really being with. You know what I'm saying? So back to what I was saying, ladies, we gotta really deeply evaluate these dudes. Now, I can't specifically give you a timeline. I don't know what that is. I don't know what that consists of. But when you evaluate these dudes, right, I'm always gonna tell you, go for whatever your preference is. If you know what I mean, like if you like a specific caliber of dude, go ahead and pursue that, you know? But at the same time too, while you're in this pursuit, or while you're in this phase of the talking stage or whatever, or you're getting courted, deeply evaluate these guys. What I mean by that, let me give you a little bit more details. When it comes to interacting with a partner, really pay attention to how they behave and how they act, right? If you're my sister, I would want you to pay attention to how he treats his parents, how he treats his homeboys, and how he treats others in the community. Why does that matter? Ladies, if he is a disrespectful individual towards his parents, what makes you sit there and rationalize in your mind, well, maybe, you know, since I'm a princess, he's gonna treat me better. If he's a dude that continuously backstabs his friends, what makes you think, well, since I'm his princess, he's gonna be loyal and have my back? No, that's not necessarily how that works. You know what I'm saying? Like, these are very important actions that you should keep documented. You know what I mean? And I know this sounds like you're very like, why are you so like analytical? Why are you such a big analyzer? Because it matters. It matters. Ladies, it matters. Why? Because when you are a female with a big heart, you can't just grant that heart out to everybody. You can't. You have to be selective. Why? Because the individual that's gonna do the right things is gonna take care of that heart that you offer to them. That's why it matters. You know what I'm saying? So when I see situations where, okay, clearly this guy has some underlying issues, why are you giving him a chance? Well, Mark, he looks good, and like, you know, he got this going on, and this and that. And it's like, so you're willing to sacrifice time, effort, and grief just because aesthetically he just looks good and it compliments you from a romantic standpoint. That doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't make any sense to me. You know what I'm saying? So ladies, I'm gonna continue to again advise that you deeply evaluate these guys. If it takes you 3 months, okay, it takes you 3 months. If it takes you 6 months, okay, it takes you 6 months. If it takes you a year, okay, it takes you a year. But within that time frame, you're gonna analyze and understand that, okay, I know who I'm dealing with here. Like I know who I'm dealing with. And once you really figure out who you're dealing with, then you can make a decisive decision on if you want to inquire this man in your life, right? Now, some people are wanting to date for the experience. Who am I to say that's the wrong way to go about it? Who am I to say that's the wrong approach? But I do think that there should be some form of intentionality when it comes to dating somebody. You're spending time with them. You're being compassionate with them. In some cases, they're meeting your immediate family. They're going to be around the same friend groups. This matters. So why just, oh, I'm just going to go with the flow. He looks good, so I'm just going to, you know, I'm going to talk to him. No. There should be some clear intentionalities in there. You should take the time to really get to know who you're dealing with. And then from then on, like I said, make a decisive decision. If this is something that you believe it's worth your time spending. Ladies, this matters. You got to really think about stuff like this. You know what I mean? Even for the fellas. Cause I'm, you know, cause I tend to do this too. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes down to the nitty gritty, there's a lot of things I'm thinking about that I'm like, I wonder how, you know, what's the dynamic with her and her folks? Is she close with her family? How is she as a sibling? Who's her best friend? These stuff, it matters. It does. It does. You know? These are little underlying factors that you could pick out and you're just like, okay, you're formulating who this individual potentially is by how they are acting in real time, like real present time. This is not no past deal, no, real present time. So yeah, it's gonna require some time, and I think that's what the issue is with a lot of not only with the males, but I noticed with the females as well. You know, so like I said, if I were to be sitting here talking to my sister and telling her how to interact with, you know, someone that she could potentially see herself with, I would tell her, hey, evaluate who he is as a man. And if you notice that he still continues to have boyish tendencies, depending on the age frame, right? Give a little bit of time. And if you don't necessarily got the time for that, then you go ahead and discard it completely. No harm, no foul. You save yourself the time and the effort, the money, whatever the case may be. You go about your business as adults. You know what I'm saying? It requires a bit of social awareness, but also the time and a bit of clarity and just intentionality. When you put all that together, man, you really could maneuver your dating life in such a fashion that where, I'm not gonna say you're gonna be completely protected by everything, but you're gonna be spending less time in places that you don't necessarily need to be spending time in. You feel what I'm saying? Man, it's your boy.